on the big time, and we have our guest today. And I was trying to stop them because they were trying to have the full-on conversation before we got on air. But we have the president of Transform Lesotho Initiative, Abuti Tsolo. Can I call you Abuti? That's okay, right?
No, that's not
No?
okay. That's not okay. That's not okay. Just Tsolo. That's
Okay,
fine.
Tsolo Kabane. How are you?
I'm good. I am okay.
You're okay.
I am okay.
100%.
Yeah, I am okay. Well, 100% is something else, but I'm okay.
It's important to ask because there were rumors last week that
Yeah.
they were looking for you and they were
You
gonna
know, it was trippy. That's
Yeah,
why we
it was
couldn't use
hectic.
the poster properly.
But no,
last week.
I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm
Yeah.
safe. Don't worry. I'm fine.
do. Yeah,
Good.
very good.
That's good. That's good to hear. So, before we get into, obviously, I'm pretty sure most people are mostly curious about Bacha Shutdown. But before we get there, I want you to please clarify for the listener what Transform Lesotho Initiative is and what it's about.
All right. Transform Lesotho Initiative is a movement, I'd like to call it, by the youth for the youth, and it's basically, or it focuses on empowering the youth, gearing them for the future that lies ahead, preparing them to become leaders of this country. We were aware of the challenges that our country faced, and we could boil down the challenges to the challenges of leadership. There was no much substance in our leaders, and therefore, if we wanted to become the leaders of tomorrow or the leaders of today, we needed to prepare ourselves for such. So we came up with the concept Transform Lesotho Initiative. It is a movement. We are moving towards a transformed Lesotho that includes young people being in the forefront, young people who know what they are doing.
Okay.
Where does it emanate from? Where did it start?
Funny enough, it started at a friend's apartment or house
Okay.
in 2017, where we just saying, we're like, what can we do? This country is moving in the wrong direction. What exactly can we do? Is there anything that we can do as young people of this country? I was very young then. I'm 27. Well, I'm still young now. But
How old are you?
24. 24.
Why are you scared?
Oh, you
No, I'm
realize
not scared, but then sometimes you're like, no, why?
No, don't worry.
But no, it's
Everybody
fine.
here knows I'm 24 too.
24 as well.
Yeah.
So at the time, we were like, what can we do? So we're like, okay, let's come up with this concept. We're not sure at the time whether it should be a political movement, civic society, but we knew what we wanted to do. We wanted to empower young people. We wanted to educate them. Transform Lesotho Initiative is basically, it's a project. And we had phase one of the project, which is enlightenment. Meaning we need to get the young people of this country
To be
aware of
Yeah.
what is
Yeah.
happening.
Yeah.
I mean, so we are aware of where we needed to start. And the starting point had to be enlightenment. So that's where we are, that's how we started, and that's who we are. Yeah.
Okay. So, straight into Bacha Shutdown. What was it about?
I feel like we should get Tulo to introduce it. Every time we say Bacha Shutdown, it should be Tulo who says it.
Yo, what up, man?
He's the guy
We
to
here
rant.
at Bacha Shutdown. I'm the guy that rant.
Sorry, continue.
Bacha Shutdown started last year. We had a march on the 1st of July on a very cold
Very
winter
cold.
Yours was
morning.
cold.
Cold.
Yours was cold.
My
It was
goodness.
very cold. We had a petition, and it
Yeah.
had things, or it had certain issues that we have even today. We were saying, okay, fine, we are at enlightenment stage, but then enlightenment has to do with civic action or doing something. What do we do? Our leaders are away. Let's make them away. How do you do that? A march. So we went for a march, and we're like, we need to shut this whole city down. Then we decided we're going to call it the Bacha Shutdown. But obviously, as time went, it wasn't about shutting anything down. It was about Bacha coming out in their numbers and saying we are stopping everything that we're doing.
Yes,
we're going
that
from
kind
work.
of shutdown.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we came out in our numbers on that cold winter's morning to basically go to the Prime Minister then and say,
So cold.
listen,
It was really cold.
unemployment and rhetoric, LGBT rights. We had a number of issues then, but it was the beginning. So we knew that there's a road. And then this year, fast forward into this year, we're like, things are still bad. We have a new Prime Minister, we have a new government, but things are terribly, they are worse. After seeing scores of young people at Home Affairs, we saw them lining up for the police service, and we're like,
Yeah.
this is bad, because they know for a fact that they're not going to get this job. They knew for a
But they're
fact that they're
going
not
anyway,
going,
'cause
but
you're
they're going
hoping.
anyway because
Yeah.
they are hoping, and you
Yeah.
have to hope, and hope is the only thing that you can hold on to when you have nothing. So we had this, and then there was the Bacha shutdown the second time, and it was even bigger. People came out in their numbers, so we're aware that no, enlightenment is, it's something
It's
that is
getting there.
happening.
It's happening.
And the struggle is not even helping it. The unemployment, the poverty, the depression that comes with it, the neglect that comes from our leaders didn't help. Didn't help them, but helped the project of enlightenment. So that's where the Bacha shutdown comes from. And it is a movement, and I think it is now more than a movement. It's now a culture
Yeah, it is,
of young
for sure.
people that want to see their country move forward, of young people who try to do in their own corners. I must appreciate the young people that are doing different things, the young people that are setting up things like this to ensure that they transcend despite.
I don't know if he would count himself as young.
But I'm just saying he works with a lot of young people.
Yeah.
But I'm just making an example to say there's a lot of them doing amazing things. Bacha Shutdown is about that. It's about the resilience. It's about making this country a great country, not just for the leaders, or not just looking at the leaders or insulting them or saying they didn't do what they did, but it's a culture of making this country more than what it is today. So yeah, that's what it is.
Do you think, even though it was a bad thing, it was a terrible thing, that none of us are happy with, that small group of people who were arrested, do you think that has impacted the Bacha shutdown and Transform Lesotho Initiative in a good way or a bad way?
For starters, it could be a good way and a bad way. For starters, it's a bad thing that happened to them as individuals. I cannot overemphasize this. Imagine you
That stays
as
with
an
you.
individual.
Yeah.
You have been arrested, they have taken your fingerprints, and you're probably going to have this hanging over your head forever. It is terrible. It is the worst thing that could happen to anyone. No one wants that happening to them. And therefore, it's a bad thing in that light. But it's also a good thing in the light that we are now aware of what our parents, our leaders, those in government, are to us. They've become the monsters that we see or that we saw that could just literally arrest you while you're walking on Kingsway free like that. They arrest you, they whip you, they brutalize you. So to that extent, it played the enlightenment, role to
what is
show
happening.
that we really need
Yeah.
to stand up for this country. No one is here for us. We are on our own. We have to be the change that we want to see. If I can literally be walking down Kingsway on my own, trying to seek cover to the police, and then they brutalize me in that manner, that is abuse.
Yeah.
So it works to be an awareness. So it was a benefit in that part to show that these people are not here for us. They are not in power for our sake. They are not in power for anyone but themselves. So there's that negative side to it, that it boils down to you as an individual, but also there's the bigger one that's beyond any individual, which is quite a benefit to the struggle of young people in this country. So
They shoot. I made you look. Is Bacha Shutdown an apolitical movement? What is
absolutely.
what is it? Transformation.
Transform
Lesotho
Lesotho Initiative.
Initiative.
Transform Lesotho Initiative is apolitical. It is fine for you to be politically aligned and want to work with us. It's absolutely fine. We are trying to drive away from the fear of politics. We are trying to push young people into
We're actually trying to
politics.
encourage
Yeah.
them.
Participation.
Yeah.
So there's no way we can run away from that politics are a part of our lives. But then we are not for a certain political party or
Yeah.
for a certain
We just
denomination.
for good policy.
But we are for good governance.
Join
We
the
are
civil discourse.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So if you are from whatever party X, party Y, and you
Makes
want to
no
work,
difference. Yeah.
and you understand the struggle that we're in and the struggle of young people, we'll work with you. We'll be with you. You can be a member of it. You can literally do it. That's what we are saying. Participation into the political democratic space. Some people normally say, these politicians or these parties that are here are not. But then how about we get into all those political parties
Yeah.
and try to transcend, break
Each
the
and
glass
every
ceiling?
single one of them.
There's a glass ceiling in political parties. In Sesotho, there's a saying they use, Transform Lesotho Initiative tries to break that whole idea or ideology that we are being instruments of certain people. So let's break the glass ceiling, whether you're from party X or party Y. Let's go in 2022 is our opportunity. So that's what we are aiming for as young people of this country, that 2022 is a breakthrough. Our country is going to be headed in a different direction.